Hey everyone, you're watching We Had That, and today I'm going to talk about the 1989 Wave 8 G.I. Joe COBRA Night Viper action figure. I was probably about the perfect age for the 1982 relaunch of G.I. Joe as a 3 3/4 inch real American hero. I absolutely loved the toys and the comic book, and I watched the cartoon as well. The first 4 years of figures from 1982 to 85 were simply amazing to me, and most of the characters that I remember fondly from the line were part of those first four waves. 1986, 87, and 88 had some great figures too, but there were definitely more and more each wave that seemed less awesome to me. By that point, I was only getting a handful of the figures each year and none of the vehicles or accessories. Wave 8 came out in 1989 and ended up being the last year that I picked up any G.I. Joe figures at retail. I'm sure part of that was just a matter of getting older and developing new interests, but part of it was also the fact that there were fewer figures that I wanted at that point. However, even though I only got 6 figures from this wave, some of them were very cool, and when it came to the Cobra troops, the Night Viper was easily one of my favorites from 1989. As the name suggests, the Night Vipers are Cobra's night troopers. They fought in the dark. A large percentage of the information on the Night Viper's file card is about their helmets, which seem to be extremely high-tech. Their helmets and suits also reduce their infrared signature. The main point that the file card makes about the Night Vipers themselves is that they are always in training and never see daylight. They live in windowless barracks with no interior lights. All of the information about the Night Vipers makes me think that they were practically designed to go up against Lowlight, G.I. Joe's night fighting expert, who was first released in 1986. Although that would separate the two figures by 3 years, a newly painted Lowlight appeared in the same wave as the Night Vipers as a member of Sergeant Slaughter's new team for 1989, Slaughter's Marauders. The Night Viper's uniform was dark green with black accents. They wore a black belt or bandolier thing around their torso with a knife attached on the chest. The bandolier seems to be how they wear their backpack as well. They have a neon green Cobra logo on the left side of their chest, which would probably be terrible for trying to stay hidden, but looks cool on the figure. On their left arm, they have what I would assume would be a Night Viper unit patch. You can't see it very well on the figure, but it looks pretty cool on the card art. They have various pouches mounted all over their uniform, including this strange one on the left wrist. I'm not sure what the piece molded to the left leg is supposed to be, but I've always assumed it was an explosive device with a timer. On the right leg, there are 2 pegs sticking out that allow you to attach the gun to the figure. The Night Vipers didn't have a lot of gear, but the gear that they did have was pretty cool. I'm not sure what kind of gun the Night Vipers are supposed to have, but I always liked it when you could attach a figure's accessories to the body, so I thought it was cool that you could attach the gun to their leg. However, I didn't understand why the gun had a sling. It seemed like it was always in the way and unnecessary if the gun was going to be attached to the leg. Regardless of the sling, the gun still looked pretty cool and had a night vision scope. Unfortunately, mine never fit into the figure's hand. I've been afraid I'd break the thumb if I tried to force it in there, so I've never had my Night Viper hold his gun. The Night Vipers also came with a black backpack that looked very technologically advanced, but I don't know what it was supposed to do unless it somehow powered their night vision gear. Lastly, they came with a set of 2-piece night vision goggles which attached to their helmets. I'm always afraid I'm going to break something when I put these on or take them off the figure, but I liked the look of them and they were pretty unique. The G.I. Joe cartoon that most people are familiar with was made by Sunbow, starting with a 5-part miniseries in 1983 and ending with a straight-to-video VHS movie in 1987, 2 years before the Night Vipers were released. A lesser-known and less popular second G.I. Joe cartoon began with a 5-part movie called Operation Dragonfire in 1989, the same year that the Night Vipers were released. Although the second cartoon seemed to be geared towards a younger audience and is generally considered to be a pretty terrible show, Operation Dragonfire was, in my opinion, actually relatively close to the same quality as the original cartoon. Since Operation Dragonfire came out in 1989, the characters on the show were based largely on the action figures in the store at the time. As a result, the Night Vipers ended up being the generic Cobra troops for these 5 episodes. They play a role in the show as non-speaking extras, jumping out of exploding vehicles, running computer equipment, shooting at G.I. Joe, and standing around in the background. But nothing they do is specific to a Night Viper's training. In fact, they don't even have their night vision sights on their visors. The biggest part a Night Viper plays in the story is in the 4th and 5th episodes, when Lowlight steals a Night Viper uniform to infiltrate Cobra. I thought this was an interesting choice. As I'd mentioned earlier, the Night Viper seems specifically designed as enemies for Lowlight, yet pretty much everything Lowlight and the Night Vipers do in these 5 episodes is in relatively well-lit areas. I understand the cartoon was made to promote the toys, and the Night Viper figure was on shelves at the time, but from a story point of view, there are other characters who would have been better suited for these situations. Televipers in particular would have been a better choice for several of the scenes that featured Night Vipers, a decision made even stranger by the fact that there actually were Televipers in Operation Dragonfire. Like in this scene, a Night Viper is manning the communications screen while a Televiper just stands in the background doing nothing. It seems like you could have had the Televiper manning the communications screen with the Night Viper standing in the background doing nothing. Regardless of how they were used in the cartoon, it's cool that the Night Vipers made it into the cartoon at all. After Operation Dragonfire, I don't think they appeared in any more episodes. When it comes to the original run of the Marvel G.I. Joe comic books, the Night Vipers weren't utilized any more frequently than they were in the cartoon. The first appearance of the Night Vipers in the comic was issue number 94, where they can be seen serving the Baroness in an attempt to kill Snake Eyes. This story arc continued to issue number 95, which is the only issue of the original run with a Night Viper on the cover. The issue starts out with a squad of Night Vipers carrying a captured Snake Eyes down a flight of stairs. This issue also makes an attempt at using Night Vipers for their specialty, working in the dark, when they're searching for an escaped Snake Eyes, and one of them says, "After I shut this door, he'll be trapped in the dark where only we can see him." Of course, that doesn't work out very well for the Night Vipers. Snake Eyes takes them out immediately after that statement is made, but it was nice that there was an attempt to use the Night Vipers in the dark here. The comic images of the Night Vipers look pretty close to the action figures, but usually they have their visor on without the night vision goggles. It even shows the peg that the goggles attach to in the comic. There were a couple more issues that included brief appearances of the Night Vipers about a year later, but they were never really used all that much in the original run of the comic book. It's probably no surprise, but there wasn't much other material to feature the Night Vipers either. There were no Night Viper lunchboxes or sleeping bags. There is a Night Viper pictured on the hovercraft from the G.I. Joe Battlefield Robots series, but as cool as the Night Vipers are, I believe that's the only box art to feature them. I've mentioned before that I usually prefer G.I. Joes to look more like actual soldiers, but I don't mind the crazy uniforms that the Cobra troops wear. Since many of the Cobra troops are blue and red, the Night Viper ended up being one of the few dark green Cobras, which makes these guys pretty good not only for night missions, but also for jungle missions. I do wish they'd come out a little bit sooner so that I would have had more of an opportunity to play with my Night Viper in my childhood G.I. Joe adventures, but I'm glad that they were part of the 1989 wave and that I did pick one up when they were still in stores. The Night Viper is a nice figure for one of my final G.I. Joes as a kid, and I'm glad to have him in my collection. What do you think of the Night Vipers? Did you have any of these figures as a kid? Were they creeping around in the dark causing all kinds of mischief for your G.I. Joe team, or were they snoring the night away in your toy box? Tell me in the comments below. Also, please give this video a like and share it on social media. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe to my channel and hit that notifications bell so that you'll be notified when I post new videos. If you've watched my videos before, you've probably heard me talk about Toylanta. Well, Toylanta will now be holding 2 toy shows each year, with the second show, Joelanta, focusing on G.I. Joe. Visit joelanta.net for more information. As always, thanks for watching.